Yes, we've got someone from Gametech365 to join us for announcements. Simon, would you like to come up the stage?
Thank you. Hello, everybody. Hi. My name's Simon Benson, and for those of you that don't know me, my background is 30 years in immersive technology, game technology. I've done video game development, simulations, all that kind of thing. Worked at PlayStation for a good while as their director of immersive tech. And since then, I've been an independent consultant looking across the whole spectrum of anything that uses game development related mechanisms, game technology in their businesses, and work for IN4 Group, which is a business that's focused entirely on giving people technology futures, particularly people maybe from disadvantaged backgrounds and things like that, as inclusive as possible to give people opportunities in technology futures. They operate facilities at Media City. So Media City, as you all probably know, was best known for where the BBC and ITV and all the broadcast industry migrated to be the epicenter of broadcast outside of London. Since then, Media City is going on a big journey because, as we all know, particularly from the esports side of things, the audiences have evolved massively now. Broadcast is not as it was. People want more interaction. So Media City itself is redesigning itself now to incorporate interactive media, and that's part of the journey that IN4 is helping to facilitate. So what I want to talk about today, got my slide up, next slide, thank you, is Gametech365. So we're announcing Gametech365 today. What Gametech365 is, well, I guess let's start with a different point. So why Gametech? So as I mentioned before, Gametech itself is things like game engines, tools, all the things that are associated with what was formerly video game development, but is now used in so many different industries. As we know ourselves, esports makes use of video games, but all the broadcast side uses a lot of advanced technology, a lot of community mechanisms. All that side of stuff is Gametech. We use Gametech now in education to make more interactive and immersive apps. We use it in virtual reality, virtual production, medical, all sorts of fields now are embracing game technology. And when you look to the future of where game technology is going, it's hugely outgrowing the entertainment industry now as well. I mean, the entertainment industry in the UK is valued at over £7 billion already and growing year on year. And when you think about it expanding beyond entertainment, it's going to be huge. And again, we've all heard of like the metaverse, often bandied around that term. What is the metaverse? Everyone seems to struggle to define it. But I think the simplest view that I put to what the metaverse is the metaverse is the reinvention of the internet, the evolution of the internet. When you think about the internet now, it's kind of like it was designed to replace libraries and books, you know, and it's done a good job of that, because really going on the internet is a bit like flicking through a glossy magazine. We kind of do it on our own. You know, we choose what we want to pick. We pick articles and we move around throughout there and it's well presented. But that's not our world. You know, our world is this, where we want to see flashing lights everywhere and 3D things and meet people and have other people there. We want something that's more like a shopping mall than a magazine. And that's what the internet is doing. It's evolving into that. And that's why Gametech is a huge thing that we need to keep our eye on. If it's not part of your business now, you should really be looking at that and thinking how it might be in the future as our smartphones get thrown away and we start wearing smart glasses, unlocking the opportunities of the metaverse going forward. So really, Gametech365 is something we've put in place. Like I say, we're announcing this today, and it's to help businesses that utilize these tools or are starting to utilize these tools or technology to be successful. Because again, with any new tech or when you're embracing these things or starting a business, there's lots of risks ahead. We talk to a lot of, say, indie game studios as an example of people that do this a lot. Indie game studios have been around for decades. But when you look at the typical format of what happens with indie game studios, the ones that fail for very common reasons. And there's a lot of them that start up. It's something like over 500 a year start up. And they've got quite a high attrition ratio. And that's because they're often creatively led by a vision, we want to do this, but they don't necessarily understand some of the basic challenges that maybe the particular type of business is presented with. So when we talk to people, we found some examples of that was things like often early founders would give away far too much of their company. They'd say, oh yeah, 5 of us have got together, we're starting this business, let's have 20% each, and then you've created an uninvestable business. maybe they sign a contract because a publisher comes along and they jump on it, think, this is amazing, we've got a publisher, just sign it, don't really bother reading the words, it's this publisher. And then they find that they're bound into some deal for 3 years where they can never really make any money, and it's really hard to keep going. Lots of these things are very, very common stories that people will tell you when they've started businesses in this space. And the ones that are successful, when you ask them about their story, they'll often say, the reason I was successful is because I went to this event and I met this person in that corner of the room over there, and they told me this story, and this person told me about this opportunity, and I had this problem, and that person helped me get over that problem. They shared some of their stuff from their studio. And what you find is that Gametech, just like any new immersive tech, when they first emerge, it's often the case that the government don't quite catch up and aren't quite on it. We're only really seeing now investments from the government going into the gaming field, and it's nearly 30 years old. So in the meantime, people just self-support, and it's their own communities that help them be a success. Can I have the next slide, please? So what Gametech365 is basically a community. We're building a community to help facilitate that process, to not make it be something that's organic and only those that find the right people get to survive and those that don't. But let's put something in place where people can come together and succeed together, and we can facilitate that peer-to-peer opportunity, but also bring in lots of other opportunities too. So underpinning it is obviously the network, the community, getting the people in there first, and that's multi-tiered, and we'll talk about that in a second. But the key thing is the facilitated side of it, that we'll have experts from the industry assigned to the right businesses that can help them on their journey. So for example, if we've got a lot that are in the entertainment space, they'll be facilitated by someone with that background that can help them over those hurdles, point them at the opportunities, and just be that friendly voice for them. If they're from a different industry where maybe they're doing something using Gametech that's not entertainment related, they might have a different facilitator to help them on that journey. They'll also have support through targeted workshops. These will be in 4 different categories, so things like business-related ones, obviously, to help them with them fundamental structures. And they're particularly useful for the businesses where they're started up from creatives that aren't necessarily entrepreneurs primarily. Help them with the basics of business, get them on the right footing, get them foundations in early to make them be successful. Also, we'll have creative workshops, technical workshops, and product workshops to help people with all those aspects as well. There's going to be multi-layers to the community. It's not just one big pot that we put everyone in. It's segmented so that people who are maybe career seekers that are trying to become professionals, we can look after them and find the right things that help them along. People that are professionals looking for maybe industry news and what's going on in the area and all those kind of things, there's an area for them. The businesses that are actively seeking support, there's an area for them where they get this facilitation. And equally, the most important part of it is there's going to be contributors, the people that say, I can give something back to my community. And that can be of any scale. It can be someone who's maybe already in one of these categories, a business that's taking advantage of the opportunity and wanting to be helped along, might say, well, you know what, I've got this brilliant network engineer. I can give you half a day of their time every month to do a workshop and tell everyone else about online networking, or whatever that might be, and then we can help find them the right person that might need that support. But equally, it might be businesses, big businesses, that might say, well, you know what, if you've got this big community, I might be able to help you by giving you tools, training, special webinars targeting your community. And our facilitators know our community, therefore they can work with them to make sure that's tailored correctly and lands well into that community to the right people. So we have that open opportunity. Anyone interested in any of these aspects, we'll want you all to sign up, and we'll come to that in a second. One other thing as well that's often a big part of getting these game tech companies started, particularly those that are making creative content, is funding. And in fact, as we all know from early stage businesses, funding is normally the first thing on everyone's lips. So you ask them, what's your primary issue? Funding. So funding is another big part of what we do with this community. So one side of that is that we'll actually help support people to understand the landscape of what maybe grants and opportunities are available. And again, this is very specific to our industry, because you often find that not a lot of the calls out there for big grants suit game tech and interactive or immersive companies. So our facilitator will know which funds are available for them, but equally, we're asking businesses that maybe need some of that resource from this community, people that maybe have an app and they want to gamify it, will come to this community and we can find you, we can matchmake you that co-developer, that expert from the community, and that funding that they get from working on those projects helps to bootstrap their businesses and give them another revenue stream so they don't put all their eggs in one basket. Another key part is facilities. So as I mentioned before, we operate out of Media City primarily, although it's not restricted to Media City. This is an open community for anyone. But because we're operating out of Media City, we can offer facilities that are on our doorstep. So we have an immersive lab full of VR kit and things like that. We have an esports arena where you can do game launches, product launches, esports competitions, learn about esports. We have a Gametech lab kitted out with development machines that you can use for both esporting or developing on. We have Vodafone's 5G Mech labs there if you want to learn about 5G, and numerous other things, innovation spaces, but also you can register your business there and have an address at Media City, which also can come with great opportunities too. And that's just one of the facilities we have. And again, through this contribution mechanism in our community, again, there's an open call out there for anyone who wants to offer up their facilities in their regions, whatever that might be, could be added into that mix to serve that community back again and really help connect people and make the right outcomes occur. Next slide, please. Thank you. So I'll quickly summarize what Gametech365 is overall. So the way we see it is primarily, it's a community, as I've mentioned. The key part of this is the faces, the people, not just the people in our community, but the people supporting that community, the experts, the facilitators, the mentors, all of us basically that have worked in these kind of spaces before, bringing all that to bear so that everyone's got access to people, because at the end of the day, community is everything and we know how powerful that is. The facilities, we mentioned Media City, but as I say, there's opportunity to bring in more facilities. And when you think of the facilities there are around the country, there's so many fantastic labs and opportunities and working spaces and co-working spaces. And it's just giving this an umbrella that we can put all these things under and understand what's actually there and group them all together and then offer them out more broadly to our community. And there's fuel, the thing that keeps our business running, the funding, the grants, access to finance, understanding that world so we can keep our businesses moving forward at pace and scaling. And flying starts, workshops, programs, accelerators, anything that gives us a boost, gives us more intelligence in what we're doing, more knowledge, more skills to help move things forward, access to talent pools, lots of these elements that are really, really critical to how we need to grow our businesses. So we're announcing today, and there's the link up there, so encourage anyone interested, please register, and it's just a register of interest, that's all you're doing. It's a very simple form to fill out, and what we then do is we'll follow up with everyone and help get started and talk to everyone about how they fit into this, what they can do, what part of the program they're interested in, what part of the community, all that side of things we'll sort out there. We're starting a live pilot, it's already running now, so we've actually got the first activities going, just to make sure we've got the right format to this, and we're going live early next year. So again, anyone you know, pass the link on, make sure everyone knows about it, that you know that is of interest, and encourage everyone to be part of this amazing community. Come and talk to us, there's a few of us around here, if you all stand up so we all know where you are. So a few of us representing IN4, Laura over there as well, so any of us you can come and talk to if you're interested in knowing more. And I guess my closing message really is to say, today we've all come here as part of an esports community and we're really feeling the benefits of that. We've probably had so many amazing conversations, done so much business, and we're only halfway through this event. So there's so much more it can give. So imagine if you're a game tech business operating in that space and what Gametech365 could do to you as an ongoing community that's there for you and there to support you and built for your purpose. So that's all I've got to say, so thank you very much. Like I say, come in and see us afterwards, and yeah, it was great to talk, thank you. And I'll leave that up, so you've all got that to fill in. Thanks.